So go ahead and state your full name for the camera.
Dr. Thomas Stanley Fortson. Again, I go back to the earlier theme that we are all on a journey and we have a story to tell. And so now I don't mind telling you how I'm 69 years old and, approaching retirement. And so what I do now, probably do too much. My wife tells me, I've been married for 45 years and I know my wife since second grade, and so we haven't stopped debating and talking about life. But I'm looking back on my life now, and I'm also looking forward, knowing that I have less time as I look forward than I had in the past. So as I move forward from this point on, I've asked myself the question, what is it that I wish I had done? And I can answer that through a couple of experiences, and one major experience is about a year ago, I was in the Caribbean, St. Vincent, and I had heart failure. It was sort of like a major crisis. I'm out of the country, and it's the first time something like that has happened in that magnitude. So I say that and share that because at that point, life could have been over. I've recovered now, and I think I'm back in good shape. But that was a wake-up call for me. And as a result of that wake-up call, what's important in my life now is a phrase I wish I had. I remember when I was in the hospital, I was in ICU for about a week. And I'm laying there in bed all wired up, and what I thought about was, what do I wish I had done? If I had a past at that point, are there some things that I wish I had done? And so I have a list of things that I call I wish I had a list. And I'm doing my wish I had a list. And so what are some of those things that I wish I had done? As I said before, growing up, I didn't get a lot of affirmation from my dad. So as a father, and by the way, when I shared that experience about my dad was a good man. I know he loved me. Like all of us, we had shortcomings, and I highlighted his shortcomings, but my dad made sure and took care of his family. I learned that from him. My dad really loved my mom. I learned that, from him. So I want to be sure when I look in the rearview mirror that I leave a legacy of a strong family, of a son who knew that his dad loved him. I want to leave behind the legacy, if I pass before my wife, because my wife says, well, how do you know you're going to die before me? Now, you got to understand, we were kids, so we still joke with one another. But I want to leave a legacy to a woman who knew that her husband loved her, was dedicated to the family. Those are some things that I look back on when I was in the hospital. Did I do a good job of that? I want to leave some writings, reflections on life. And that's part of my wish I had a list. And so what I'm doing now in life is filling out my wish I had. Because I don't have to say I wish I had it, because I'm doing it now. And I think connecting and relationships are really key in my life right now. I think I'm not as, and I share this very carefully, I'm not as, it's not important now that I achieve a lot of things now, or that I make a lot of money now. I think what's important to me is that I leave a storyline, a legacy of a strong family. I'll leave back the memories to my family and my grandkids. I have 3 grandkids now. And they just love their granddad, by the way. but that's intentional, because I've learned to make them feel that there's no one important in this world as they are. That's the role of a grandfather. It's children's children that's important. And so I'm leaving that legacy behind. And in addition, you want to make sure that your wife and your family have some resources behind. But I think relationships and memories are key. And one of the things that I want to do in this season of my life is to make sure that they're positive memories that I leave behind. What else do you have? When it comes time for the Lord to take you home and to be with Him, what else are you going to leave behind that's significant except for memories? Because they're going to be talking about me. There's no question they're going to be talking about me. But I want them to say some good things. Oh, yeah, I remember when Dad did this, and you recall when Dad did this. And by the way, one of the things that I want to do in my I wish I had a list and have more fun. I'm a serious guy. People think, man, your dad is really serious. But what they don't realize that I do have fun. I like to tell stories. I like to tell jokes. My kids say, well, Dad, you always exaggerate. Well, they remember that Dad exaggerated things. But we laugh a lot more in our home. We have fun in our home. That's deliberate and it's intentional, but I'm not necessarily wired that way. But if I had died in St. Vincent in the Caribbean, one of the things that I would have wished I had done was had more fun. And I think that's a legacy that I would encourage all of us to do, and that's to have fun, to have more laughter. Life is serious. Life has its ups and downs. But I would encourage, especially young men, that's because I deal a lot with young men, but women too, is to have more fun. Life is serious. You're going to have challenges. You're going to have crises. They're coming. Expect it. But you can have fun. And I think you should be intentional about having more fun in life. And that's on my wish I had a list, because I can't say when I was growing up that I had a lot of fun. I'm a serious person. That's the way I was wired. But if I had to do some things over again, and God has given me more time now, and one of the things with my wife and I, we want to have more fun, laugh with the kids, especially with the grandkids, and spend more time with them. So to be successful, and that's part of being successful, because you can be successful and have a lot of money, have a good job, but I think enjoying life should be intentional in a family. And that's one of the things I would encourage all of us to do, no matter where you are in life, no matter how difficult things are. And you may not be where you want to be, but it's one thing I would encourage you to do, is have fun. Because I think that's something that God wants us to do, to enjoy Him and to enjoy each other.